Hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining our all-virtual Ceipal Connect event. We have a lot of great material to cover, but before we jump into today's session, there's a few quick items that I wanted to cover. First, there will be a 5 minutes Q&A session after the presentation. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to type them in within the questions tab to the right of your screen. Second, we are on a strict schedule and cannot go over the allotted half-an-hour time slot for each presentation. I will give the 5-minute notice to our presenter to ensure we get some time in for some questions, and this session will promptly end right around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you have any questions that we may not be able to get to, please feel free to send them to contact@ceipal.com, and we'll be able to answer all of your questions. And with that, I'm pleased to introduce our presenter for today, Christian Dwyer, the Chief Product Officer at DHI Group. Christian is a senior executive with tested experience building and growing consumer brands on both web and mobile. He has a great amount of experience involving general management, responsibility for strategy, planning, and execution, including product development, sales, and marketing, and even overall day-to-day operations. He has also led turnaround and realignment of top consumer web brands, driving change, opening new market opportunities, and delivering results. Today, Christian will be covering the topic, leveraging job boards to source and place top talent. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to you, Christian, and thank you again for sharing your insights today.
Thank you, Jacob, and thank you for the opportunity to present at the Ceipal Connect conference. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. And okay, let's go. So today I'm going to actually review with you all some research that we do on a regular basis. I'm going to run through that, and then we'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit about how we're evolving our products and moving our products towards better solutions for our clients. So every quarter we do a report, a tech job report, where we actually work with candidates and tech engineers to get a sentiment about how things are going. And obviously in this COVID environment, we've gotten a lot of really interesting information that I wanted to share with you. So what we see in the beginning of the year was that Q1 was really strong for tech hiring. You know, we could see in the US, we had over 300,000 jobs as we entered into basically the March timeframe. But then COVID hit, and we saw declines of job postings fall pretty much dramatically off from March into April and into May. And when you look at that Q2 time period between April and May, it declines in April, and then it flattens in the May timeframe, and it starts to grow again towards the end of May. And sure enough, we see that the total job by postings by week will start to really increase in the June timeframe. And so coming out of the second quarter, we start to see the job postings kind of recovering from that dramatic drop in the beginning of Q2. What we hear from the technologists is that, you know, everybody really responded to the COVID situation by moving into a remote work environment. And so what we wanted to really understand from the technologists was what their sentiment was around working from home, and what were the pros and what were the cons of doing that. And so as you might know, we do quite a bit of publishing on DICE to talk about you know, what's really happening in the tech space all in, and this has been a really big topic for us. What we see is that you know, the technologists have definitely seen a increase in their workload moving from a work from home environment. There's definitely been more work that they've actually taken on. And they generally are feeling more secure in their roles as it stands. We do a kind of bi-weekly evaluation with our sample set, and we see that users or technologists are generally feeling fairly secure in their roles. But they are increasingly open to new opportunities. You can see here that in the week 11, you can actually see the growth in nearly 40% of the technologists are open to actually looking at new opportunities within the next 2 weeks, as the question laid out. And what has certainly changed for them is what's most important to them as they look at a work from home environment. So there's always been the need for them to fit in with personal values, meaningful work-life balance, company leadership. Interestingly, how companies are responding to the COVID situation has rated really high. But what was most dramatic was the actual importance of working from home, working remotely. That was the largest basically category of what was important to basically technologists in their jobs. And for years, the truth is that the technologists have always wanted to work from home remotely. And employers really had to really address this with the COVID. There was no options. A lot of companies were not prepared to actually work from home, to have their employees work from home, particularly their technologists. But they were forced into this situation with the pandemic. And that's worked well for our technologists. The technologists they enjoy working remotely from home. In fact, prefer it than actually working in the office. And some of the what we've learned from the technologists is that they do not perceive remote work to be detrimental, both to them or the company culture. They feel that working from home is actually a benefit for them and the organization. From a company perspective, the benefit is increased productivity. They're more productive, less distracted at times, more relaxed in their environments. They don't have to actually organize and head into the office. They can work from home. But from a personal perspective, they look at it and say, look, I can save time commuting. Commute is always a painful topic when you're talking about hiring top talent in your organization. It's getting them to the office in a timely manner. And so some of the top benefits are, even more time with family, better work-life balance, saving money on food, those types of things. So those are benefits that the technologist sees from working from home. What are some of the costs? Some of the costs are in distractions. I think a lot of those distractions are the result of not only parents working from home, but kids being at home and not being in daycare or going to school. So the distractions, we've all seen it, the dogs and the barking in the background or the kids interrupting meetings. But in a little bit, I think the other issue that we definitely heard was just increased workload. And there's definitely been more work and a harder separation of work and life balance at times. As well as impacts on the relationship with their colleagues. But overall, when you ask the technologists, would you prefer to work from home or work in the office, less than 20% of the technologists said that they would want to work from the office on an ongoing basis. And you see here that nearly 60% of folks would prefer to work full-time from remote, even after the pandemic is actually quelled. So one last question we asked them was, would you be willing to take a salary cut if you could work remotely? And definitely they're not willing to barter on their salary. And I don't blame them. They're, the bottom line is that they're working as hard and or even harder and really making contributions. And so here at DHI, we've actually also implemented a complete remote work from home situation, and our productivity has actually increased. We've seen an increase in our productivity. And we recently launched a remote jobs capability on Dice. And so here, our clients can now indicate that their jobs are fully remote, and we can flag them in our job posting interface, and it shows up on our for our candidates. What we've seen, just to give you some data points, 7.5% of all of our jobs that were posted on Dice in June were remote work jobs. And 17% of all of our applications that happened in June were for those remote jobs. So definitely demand for this on an ongoing basis. And we anticipate this is a new normal, and is something that clients are going to need to really focus on and think about as they're actually trying to attract top talent in the organization. So that's a little bit of research I wanted to share with everybody. I want to pivot just for a second and talk about Dice and how we're transforming from a job board into what we call a tech career marketplace. So we want to become indispensable in that regard. And really our focus has been really around matching the highest quality candidates with the right opportunities. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our product strategy and where we're heading as an organization, and then we'll open it up for questions. So from a Dice perspective, we really have a three-pronged product strategy. The first one is to be an essential destination for tech-focused candidates. Dice is by far and away, we're focused on being the top vertical tech specialist site out there for our candidates and our clients. And so in order to do that, we need to be able to be relevant and attractive to basically the tech candidates. So in doing that, there's four steps to that and being an essential destination. The first one is making sure we have the right jobs and the right job quality, the right job characteristics, and the right job counts. And so having enough inventory of jobs is a very important piece of that. And we're very focused on continuing to grow our job count, making it easier for our clients to be able to post jobs out onto our site, using bots and scrapes, as well as interfaces and batch kind of loading. The second one is around transforming the candidate user experience. And so Dice is undergoing an ongoing transformation of its user experience, and really improving and cleaning up and meeting technologists where they need to be within the website. The third area is really personalizing their journey. And so really the more we know about the candidates themselves, the better experiences that we can deliver, the more relevant answers and the more relevant results we can provide. And then empowering and enabling candidate trust. This was a big issue for us. One of our biggest client detractor or candidate detractors was this concern around spam. Getting spam by recruiters for jobs that were completely irrelevant to basically what they were looking for. So we've given more power to the candidate to actually really control which information they are willing to accept and receive from recruiters, and really opening the door up through a new feature that we call private email. So that's our first goal, is really around being an essential destination for tech-focused candidates. Our second strategy is really around providing indispensable and differentiated solutions for our clients. And so we have been very focused on improving the quality of our candidates, And was our top goal in 2019, was to really put in place strong programs that allowed us to really assure that the candidates that were in our database were real candidates. We had, if spam was the biggest candidate detractor, fake profiles in our database was probably our biggest client detractor. And I'm proud to say over the last year, we've really done an amazing job of cleaning up and putting in the right level of fraud detection and controls so that we can assure a high quality of candidates. And we continue to test that on a quarterly basis with a random sample set at 2% basically margin of error. We are definitely seeing a very high quality database today. In addition to that, we've been continuing to rebuild the tools and the services for our clients within Dice Employer. We've overhauled our entire candidate search capabilities, as well as our job and application and management interfaces, and are continuing to add to that capability. One of the really important areas that we're focused on right now is really enabling sourcing automation and real-time access to candidates. So building integrated services within ATS systems, making it easier for our clients to be able to give us a job description, and for us to actually run that job description through our IntelliSearch capabilities and automatically push candidates back up into the ATS that match that. And then lastly, focused on insights. In those insights, we collect a ton of data, and we provide, we have over 30 years of basically history of technology information that inform our insights and help us provide our customers with supply and demand types of questions and salary types of information that help them to better target and reach those top candidates. The last area is really, I think, core to our strategy, which is we're evolving from a job board into a career marketplace. And so just recently, just a couple weeks ago, we launched a recruiter profile. And this is the first time in which a recruiter has an opportunity to create a profile that provides information about not only them and the jobs that they may be hiring for, but actually adds a bunch of social components to it where they can post information and create following of candidates who might be interested in the types of jobs that they're offering. And so, taking ideas from Facebook and the news feed and so forth, we've been able to, we're allowing now recruiters to publish and post information that candidates will see and they will follow. And I'll show you that in just a second. We're also enabling real-time communications and connections. And so we own Clearance Jobs and eFinancial Careers. And on both Clearance Jobs and eFinancial Careers today, candidates and recruiters can actually interact through text, voice, and video on our basically platform and really reach candidates while they're in the moment. And I think that's so important, especially when the market was so hot for candidates. And then giving candidates the ability to actually give us information, not only about who they are and what they're doing, but their preferences and their content beyond skills and titles. So their workplace preferences and their education and so forth are all really important pieces. And then ultimately, we're moving towards building more community features. Today, we have career pathway capabilities as well as salary capabilities, salary evaluator capabilities. But over time, we really want to connect candidates with candidates to really help them evolve their tech careers. So with that, I'm going to just take 5 minutes to talk really about what does it really mean from a marketplace perspective. So for us, a marketplace really is a very transformative idea from the job board. Job board's kind of like the 1.0 of Yellow Pages, if you will, right? Where it's just an advertisement and you create a lead and the lead goes off to the customer. and then it's out of your control. But when you think about a marketplace is a two-sided environment where you have buyers and sellers of goods and services, and so and we're really creating that on Dice, and a marketplace also has this idea of self-sustaining user-generated content. So the idea of recruiters being able to publish information and candidates be able to respond to that information and creating more of a social context is really part of the marketplace. And enabling communication and instant feedback, knowing that one of the biggest issues that candidates have today is that they don't have that transparency that's needed and they actually apply for a job and they don't know if whatever's going to happen. Within a marketplace, they get instant feedback. They get an idea of knowing where things are happening. And it's balanced. Both sides are sharing information. We also provide robust search and match capabilities. Matching is something that we're highly invested in and are building out matching algorithms to really help our clients to identify those top candidates based on their criterias that they're looking for. And then it needs to be trusted and secure. It needs to be an environment that allows users to be able to share information without it being exposed outside of those whom they give permission to. So we think that these are key attributes of a marketplace. With the recruiter profile, this is kind of a quick snapshot of what our recruiter profile looks like today. So recruiters now come in. You can see here that along the right-hand side is that they can share updates. They can provide status updates, hiring needs, events that they may be participating in, much like a news feed on Facebook or so forth. And they can attach this profile to the jobs on the site. And so here you make your profile available on the job itself. So now candidates can not only see the job, but they can actually learn about the recruiter behind the scenes and actually connect with that recruiter. If you clicked on that profile, you could actually, as a candidate, reach in and try to connect with that candidate. And as we move forward here, in terms of our move from a job board to a marketplace, really what we're launching on Dice this year is what we call the minimal lovable product, which is the recruiter profile, the messaging platform, and the candidate profile. And then as we move forward, we're going to be building more features and functions into our product that really help facilitate our clients identifying and accessing the top talent out there. We're modeling a lot of what we've done on CJ. CJ being Clearance Jobs is a very mature marketplace that we built within the cleared tech professional networks, and we are emulating that on Dice. And so you'll see us bring forward all these particular features, including pipelining and dashboard, not just dashboards, but pipelining and workflow, which automates some of the processes for working a pipeline of talent. So with that, I think I'm going to end and leave 5 minutes for any questions.
Great, thank you, Christian. And as a reminder for all attendees, if you have any questions, feel free to write them and type them into the questions tab to the right of your screen, or contact us at contact@ceipal.com. Christian, I do have one question that I'm a bit curious to learn your thoughts on. Yep. It's regarding the first half of your presentation when you kind of spoke a little bit about the COVID situation. Definitely interesting to see the overall kind of, I guess, enthusiasm and willingness to work from home from a lot of those in the technology sector. But my question to you is, what are your thoughts on how this transition to working from home has impacted the work-life balance for those employees?
Yeah. So we have definitely seen it in our own ecosystem where balancing the work life has become a bit more blurred. Where today it's your work is right in front of you all the time, and so we've definitely seen some challenges with trying to maintain a healthy work-life balance. It's been interesting because some tech candidates really enjoy the flexibility and have a sense of control over their schedule, particularly when kids were at home. So and you got dual income parents. They're trying to balance things out. So there was some control over the schedule. However, the work is in higher demand, or the productivity seems to be higher and the demand for work a bit higher. And so it has blurred the work-life balance. And I think it's really important for all of us to make sure that we try to honor that for our employees who are working from home, to make sure that we can give them the maintain a healthy, basically a healthy work-life balance mindset.
Definitely. I know it's definitely a hot topic, especially over the last few months.
It is definitely that, but I think it's going to continue for a long time.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how things run the next 6 months or so.
Yeah.
And kind of seeing the transition, if many even transition at all. But I have a feeling, like you said too, that the whole work from home era is about to be really strong moving forward.
For sure.
Right. So for those of you in the attendees, if you do have any questions, feel free to email us at contact@ceipal.com, and we will connect with Christian and DHI Group to ensure that all of you get the answer as soon as possible. With that, we'll end a little bit early, 3 minutes early, and I invite you all to get prepared for the next following sessions that begin right at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So thank you again, Christian, for presenting. Truly appreciate it, and we definitely enjoyed your presentation. So thank you again.
Thanks, Jacob. Have a great Friday.